Welcome back to Hall of Fame College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins. I'm here with my special guests, Coach I from Fanatic Sports Network and David Neill from David Talks Buffs. And we're going to talk about Ellis for Lincoln Riley taking on those CU Buffaloes tomorrow in Boulder, Colorado, along with a lot of other stuff going on this weekend in college football. Welcome to the show, gentlemen. How are we doing?
What's going on, man? What's going on, David?
How's it going, guys? Thanks so much for having me. Excited to talk some more college football.
Big facts.
Hey, it's another beautiful week out here right now. Hey, anytime you get a real chance to hang an L on Lincoln Riley's name is a good day for me. I hope they get it done out there in Boulder. And I think you just might see it. All they got to do really is get to that. They just got to get to that fourth quarter, close to it, and you will see Alex Grinch fold. This is how they roll. All right. What's up, David? How you feeling this week, man? I know it was a rough one for you guys last week, but
Hey, here's the thing, man. Of course, every new week's its own week, so of course I'm pumped, but with all the new fans coming in, following Colorado this year, what better way, to bond everybody, whether you've been following this team for 9 months or 9 years, than a little bit of trauma bonding. And we went through that last week, with our routing that we took against Oregon. And now we're ready. We've bonded a little bit more. We're ready to see the Buffs come back, bounce back, and get that first ever win ever against USC. We're 0-16 right now. That cannot stand any longer.
That's rough, bro.
I know,
That's
right?
rough, bro. Giving them a 16-game head start. All right, well, there it is. So it is. The chicken's gonna start busting chops.
You don't have it. He got you, David. He always does that. He always
got you. He's straight got you, man. Hey, big week though. Hey, look, this is the kind of game that Coach Prime came to see you to coach, right? He's got, and they will have a puncher's chance because of the fact that they got a quarterback that can go as well. You know what I mean? You're obviously going to be welcoming in the Heisman Trophy winner. Neither one of these teams have a whole lot of defense. We can just be real about that. I don't think Travis is playing this week. It doesn't really matter who they got on the team at SC. They don't really stop anybody either. So, they struggled last week with Arizona State, and I just don't see that they're anywhere close to Colorado. So on the road at altitude, puncher's chance, man. I really feel like that's the case. Coach, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I think so. I think USC is gonna win. I don't think it's gonna I had some USC fans come in on my preview and talking about 50-something to 10, 50-something to 3. I'm like, I hate to disappoint y'all, but it's not going to look like the Oregon Colorado game. Like you said, they're, tied for number 1 in Power 5 in sacks, USC is, but they're also in the bottom third in overall pass defense, which means if they don't get to the quarterback, there's trouble. You know what I mean? So, I think this 21 and a half, 22 points, it's a lot of points considering Colorado's at home this time. Like you said, it's altitude. There's a lot of factors that's not the same this week as they were last week. So, Colorado was coming off. I know Colorado State's not good, but that was an emotional game for Colorado. 2-0, going into overtime, and then coming off of that into a really big game on the road at Outson, where not a lot of people win, regardless of who you are. That's not the case this week. They're not coming off of that emotional win. They coming off of hold the mirror up to yourself and let's get back right type of game, a humbling type of game that could make you refocus, what I'm saying, at home. And again, like Jason said, they got offense, and I don't see why they won't be able to put up points on USC, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with it. It's like I said, this is the thing that with an Oklahoma fan like me, we have seen these kind of games, and these are the kind of games that you see Lincoln Riley struggling. You saw it last year at SC as well. When they get in a game that somebody can score with them, or you got another quarterback with some moxie, got a good running game, not that they have a great running game at CU, but you got a QB that's got some moxie that's going to get out there and they're going to play with you, and the other thing about CU is they do generate takeaways, and one other thing that I'd say about it is that Caleb Williams has been running for his life and they really hadn't played anybody yet.
That dude, every third quarter looks like he's about to be gassed. Like, not because he's not in shape, but I feel like he has to. They got great players on offense, but I feel like he works so hard to keep them ahead.
I think he's still the greatest player. I think he's the best player in the country. That's just me. I know you guys have said some other stuff, but I mean, look, with Shawty, you'll tell you, nah, it ain't him.
Listen, I'll say this: it's a tie between him and Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers is a stud too, but I'm just saying.
But I get what you're saying.
Is a stud too, but the thing is that when you Lincoln puts his quarterbacks in jeopardy sometimes, and he's done it with Caleb Williams a lot. So the Tulane game, he got him hurt. He got him hurt against Utah. Look, they went up 17-0 against Utah in the Pac-12 championship game, and gagged it away because he got worn out and got popped. And and Lincoln just kept trotting him right back out there.
That's what I'm gonna tell David. I think y'all as Colorado fans should get ready that I think Shedeur will get sacked multiple times. but the plays that he doesn't get sacked, I think he's gonna be able to put up yards. I just don't see why he's not gonna be able to put up those yards, because while USC the team is just as good as Oregon, maybe their defense is nowhere where Oregon is. So,
yeah. Listen, and my thing is that, I would hope, and this is, I know I've seen where Coach Prime talks about he doesn't like Shedeur to put himself in harm's way running the ball. I think that at this point, when you have had so little production in your run game, I would almost even, let him go. At
least for this week,
get out. Yeah, you got to go. You got to go because you don't want to get him hurt. And they're going to have to, if he doesn't become a threat running the football as well, they're just going to be able to pin their ears back and come get him. Right.
Yeah.
And so that's the danger there. Is that I would like to see him run the ball. And even, coach has been saying that too. What do you think about that, David?
Yeah, that's one of the main things that I brought up today, and looking at some old Kent State tape of what Sean Lewis has done to kind of take the pressure off of the quarterback dropping back a little bit, give the offensive line a little bit more help. I think Coach Prime was not pleased with how many hits specifically Shedeur took against Oregon, as well as the whole year. I think he's the most hit quarterback right now in college football. And there's some other things that they could be doing to kind of relieve some of that pressure, like you just said, running some different RPO actions, running some different even just option plays.
Right. Speed off.
If Shedeur
got to do something.
Yeah, even if he's just taking that like 5 times, this next game, that's better than what we've had. It keeps the defense honest, and hopefully those aren't super big hits or he's able to slide, but you want to have him running a little bit more, because I think that could minimize actually the amount of hits that he's taking. Right now, we haven't been running enough motion, misdirection, anything like that to help, this pass rush, not like keep their foot completely on the gas, look for other things with what's going on. And this is a question I've had for y'all, as football guys, coaches. We haven't seen a lot of that with the offense, but we've seen Kent State do a lot of that previously.
And you've seen Shedeur do it at Jackson State too. Hey, one of my short videos that I did on them before the season started, it's gotten popular lately, but it's Shedeur taking off for like 50 yards.
Yeah.
It's a comparison to Jalen Daniels in the way that they have wheels and you can get him out and he can beat you multiple ways. Yeah. You don't see him do it a lot, and Deion tries to keep him in the pocket. That's something that he talks about a lot, right?
Yeah.
I would tell you, like what Coach just said, you gotta get. Yeah, he's in more danger standing in the pocket.
Yes.
Than he is getting out and running. You can slide. You can. Look, I wouldn't say you wouldn't take any more hits, but you can kind of, with his kind of speed, the kid ran a 4.2. He's fast. So it's not like he can't get out there and run. And to me, whatever you can do to get them on their heels a little bit is what you got to do. And if you're Sean Lewis, it's time for you to open up that playbook a little bit.
Yeah.
If I'm Sean Lewis, I got to come into this game thinking that SC being the tied for sack leader in Power 5, they're going to come out and do what Oregon did in the first quarter. Oregon literally in the first quarter was not worried about Colorado trying to run. They was just it didn't matter if they was rushing 3, 5, 6. It didn't matter. They was pinning their ears back coming out to Shedeur. So if I'm Sean Lewis, I'm starting the game out trying to either run the ball on some draw plays, some counter plays, or some quick release, some pressure release plays, like just some screens, like sending
short screens, quick.
Sending the receiver in motion, hitting them right now, just to make them back up a little bit. Because if you don't, even if you're not successful at running, you got to let them know you're still gonna run the ball. I don't care if you're getting stopped for 1 yard, no yards, 2 yards, whatever it is. You got to let USC know, no, we're not going to go away from the run game, because as a defensive lineman, the whole point of some of these play calls is to keep them confused. And if they're not confused and all I got to do is rush the passer. It's Sack City. You know what I mean?
No doubt. Hey, welcome to the show, Benjamin, and thank you for wiping your feet. I hope everybody else has wiped their feet as well. Whether you are on Coach I's Fan Addict Sports Channel or David Talks Buffs, make sure you hit that like button, share us with your friends. It helps us get out there on that algorithm, keep these people rolling and stuff. That's the easiest way to help out all these channels for us creators, is to just make sure you hit that like button, okay? Yeah, all the way facts. If you would like to help the show, we have all of our links in the description here to everybody's show. Hey, get on there, check out the merch store for mine, David and it's Yo Martez. Man, I love their store, bro. Hey, that store, I ordered a hat recently from over there, man. I can't wait to get it. So man. Yeah, so excited about that. So, but listen, guys, and make sure you guys are supporting these other channels, man. These are two of the best creators out there in the business. So we really appreciate everybody being here and taking a look at what we're talking about. Hey, there's some other good football going on this weekend too. But one thing, this is the last thing I want to say about USC, and it's hey, there's no love lost here. I'm glad Lincoln Riley's at USC now, but fuck Lincoln Riley. The dude is dirty. The dude is slimy. It is what it is. So you ain't going to get no love lost out of all the folks that are in here. Coach Roybal hates him too, just because of the fact he's a USC guy now. and he's a Notre Dame guy. So it is what it is. Funny. But no, we have a lot of fun with it. We pick at him a little bit as much as we can, but he starts a lot of, and then he's been talking crap about Norman and OU fans, and he never shuts up about it. So we're going to take every shot we can at him too. So it is what it is, Texas is going to lose to Kansas. That's a possibility. We'll talk about that in just a bit as well. But no, I would say that here's the thing. As an Oklahoma fan, the one thing we know is that no game is safe, really. It isn't. Not with Lincoln, because when you get him into a situation, look, if there's ever a hiccup, if they get out 28-0, they're probably going to win it. But if it's 17, you see teams come back from 17 all the time. Right, 21. You see that happen a lot in college football. I don't think it's ever good. You're never really out of it. And if you can just make a couple of stops and, maybe get a couple of hits on CW, if it's close in the fourth quarter, they'll have a chance to go out and fetch them. And what we've seen out of Shedeur, what I like about I don't know that I think for sure CU is going to win this. What I do think is they're going to have a chance, because what we've seen out of Shedeur is when it going gets tight in the fourth quarter, he's nails, man. I
think Colorado's coaching staff as a whole need to come out with the mindset that they can win. I think after a couple of series in the Oregon game, they kind of was like, let's just kind of, get out of here without getting too embarrassed or whatever. There was a 4th and 6 on the 38 on Oregon's 38, and they punt the ball. I'm like, bro, you're in plus territory and you're not in field goal range. Why not just, try to go for it a little bit on 3rd down, and on 4th down, just try to get the, get the 1st down or something. Try to be a little bit more aggressive. I think Charlotte kind of said in the comments, and one of the Hall of Fame Mafia people said it too, USC is going to score early. They do that on everybody. So the thing is, you got to hold your composure, even if they go up 14-3 or something like that. If you can do that, that's the thing. Like Jason said, when he was at Oklahoma, you saw time and time again where they would get a big lead on somebody, i.e. Georgia in the Rose Bowl, but we kept our composure. Second half, we started scoring. Lincoln grits get kind of tight back there, and then it's like he don't know what he's doing. It's like, I mean, think about all the games they've been in like that. Tulane, when they lost to Tulane last year, it's like all you got to do is keep your composure. You can't get down on yourself, you know what I'm saying, if they jump out to an early lead. That's what I'm interested to see.
No doubt. And there are a lot of things that I think are and can go in our favor for this matchup. Again, USC's played a lot of games at night. This is our third time playing at this morning time slot, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. And that's something that we're really going to be used to. Early. Yeah. And one thing that I haven't been able to, I haven't really looked for it, but I've been curious to know if USC came into town today or last night. I think it's always ideal if you can get 2 sleeps out here to get acclimated to the altitude, especially when you're playing a morning kickoff. Because again, y'all watch the Nebraska game, like we just really pulled away in that second half, when you might start to feel some of that. And so, yeah, you guys are bringing up Caleb Williams run for his life, in the second half, looking like he's going to gas out. If this thing is close and competitive going into the half, like I really do like CU's chances. But again, we're going to have to play our most complete game of football. We're going to have to, actually look to establish a run. I don't even think within the first 6 plays or that we had against Oregon, we even ran a running play once. And this is not the game where I think that you run up tempo. Maybe you pick and choose what you're doing, but I think this is a great opportunity to use a lot of pre-snap motion, get that USC defense to jump, into advantageous positions for the offense and really look to establish a run game to take pressure off. Again, TCU, Shedeur Sanders was like 93% completion percentage off of play action. It was like 15 out of 17 or something like that. We need to have him playing off of play action if we're going to put up a bunch of points.
Yep, I think so. I think you can try to give it to those running backs early. And like I said, take the losses early, but they know you committed to the run. Because if you don't, like you said, against Oregon, I don't remember when it was you took your first run. It was like you just came out throwing. And against teams that can score, like sometimes you got to keep your defense on the sideline. Because the more that especially with these new first down rules, you know what I'm saying, where the clock doesn't stop for them to reset the change. On your first drive, if you can get 3 or 4 first downs, now you limiting the other team's offense in the first quarter to, 1, maybe 2 possessions, especially if you get the ball first. I mean, we had a game like that with Georgia against South Carolina. We literally only got the ball 1 time in the first quarter. Like that was it because they put together a couple of drives, had some first downs, clock is running. Next thing you know, it's second quarter. So you got to try to run the ball, even if it's not super successful. You got to try to run the ball. But again, I don't think USC is great against the run like Oregon is. I'm not saying they're bad, but they're not great against the run like
you
Oregon
saw what
is.
Scatterboo did to them.
That's what Scatterboo kept Arizona State in the game. Like that was the only reason why their receivers was open, because they had to try to put some people in the box to stop this dude. This dude was getting like 7-8 yards a carry. Like every time they had like a long second down, long third down, they run a draw play to Scatterboo. Scatterboo's out there getting 15 yards.
Yeah, he was trucking some guys out there. This whole thing's kind of funny because USC and Colorado, it's almost like USC is kind of just a slightly better version of, I feel like, what our team is right now, which is like we have a great offense, but we struggle with pass protection. They're probably a little bit better at running the ball, but we both suck right now with open field tackling. We both have a lot of penalties, and I think whichever team can kind of clean up those different aspects more with this game, I think gets the win. But it's going to hurt having Travis out, as well as I think Shiloh's probably going to be out with this kidney injury.
I was about to say, I think that's going to hurt because he leads, I want to say he leads the Pac-12 in solo tackles. So I think one sneaky aspect of USC's offense, though, and I don't think Lincoln Riley uses it enough, is their run game. Actually, like Marshawn Lloyd was killing Arizona State, but it's like he doesn't get the ball enough because Lincoln's a pass guy. So let's hope they don't realize that this weekend either.
I'm terrified of facing Lloyd, man. That guy is a beast.
Bruh, he looked
100%
healthy too. It's like, oof, he could wear that front. He could wear that front 7 out.
But Jason, I'm curious, what is that one play that always burns these Alex Grinch defenses?
There's a few, but if you hit that, I think the one Stephen G is probably talking about is you can definitely get them with draw plays. You can definitely get them there.
What he likes to do is go into like a prevent style if they're up 17 or so, which gives you a lot of underneath stuff.
A lot of underneath stuff. If you hit the short passes and you got guys that can make plays, which you do with Xavier Weaver. You've got Xavier Weaver out there. You've got obviously Jimmy Horn. I mean, those two guys. Dylan Edwards, man. If I would view the fact that what you have an issue with running the ball, it's like I've been saying a lot with Oklahoma. This is what I've wanted to see more with OU is hit some of these short screens out of the backfield, running play, have the running back get out of the backfield for quick little shots. You can use that as an extension for your running game. You can back them out of the box, because if you don't do that, they're going to be all in his grill all day long. Yes, draw plays and wheel routes. Yeah, I was coming to wheel routes too. If you start that underneath thing and they start hitting that, then the wheel route will open up and it's Six City. Look, again, when you've got a quarterback that can make every throw, and Shedeur can make every throw,
which we've seen, you
will have a puncher's chance. Again, I'm not saying for sure that they win it. I damn sure don't see 21.5 being the number. I think that anybody that didn't take the points there, and I mean, you could go money line and screw around with it, because it's, I mean,
I'm doing both. I'm doing both every week.
Yeah, it's like plus 800, right?
I took Colorado into points. I definitely took Colorado into points.
Yeah. I mean, but I mean,
and then the over under, I can take the over easy.
Shoot, yeah, bro. I'm all over that over here in a minute. I'm all over the over. I don't care if it's 100.
Yeah,
I think it was at like 70 something.
That's easy. That's easy money.
Yeah, I know, man. So draws and wheel routes, exactly what Steven said. In 63-49, I could see that, Fatty. You could. But again, everybody's saying it here. Wheel route. Of course, you have to set that up, though. You're going to have to set that thing up by hitting those short passes, because you got to bring those defenders up. And what we do know about Grinch's defensive, especially in the secondary, is they don't have a ton of. They're just not real. What's the word I'm looking for?
They got one guy in their secondary, and that was it. That's the Bullock kid. That guy's, he's a player. The rest of the guys are just kind of, I think individually their guys are good. I just don't think as a unit they're great because of who's coaching them. So,
there's none of them are really have an assignment. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's just go out there and run after the football, which is fine sometimes. But honestly, if you don't have some areas that you're supposed to be married to and making sure that you're watching that, I mean, that's how wheel routes get burned. Burn people, is because you think you got help over the top on the safety, and you don't. They start creeping up into the box. Again, if they don't feel like you're gonna beat them deep, they're just gonna send guys. I mean, that you're gonna beat them with the run, they're just gonna send a bunch of dudes from the front. They will do that. I don't see it.
Shawty was saying put the running back against some of their linebackers, because Dylan Edwards, they can't cover him. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, running some of those angle routes, put Dylan Edwards, kind of have him go in motion. And then, honestly, that's hard for anybody to stop. I don't care what linebackers you got.
And he played in the slot a lot in high school, and we haven't seen him do any of that so far this year. So I think that's definitely an advantage. A wrinkle that I'd like to see this week is to maybe even with those two-back sets. I think we've mentioned this before. Now that McCaskill's kind of getting back up to speed, doing some stuff, flexing Edwards out in the slot, kind of creating some of these mismatches against these linebackers, because Tulane did some of that, in the Cotton Bowl as well. And but I'm curious, like, I just don't understand with Alex Grinch having these guys jump around so much pre-snap. Like, how is this supposed to look if it's if it's working, it just seems like you're extending so much energy and then you're in the wrong position.
The point of it supposedly is to confuse the offensive line about who you're blocking assignments
right.
are.
What your assignment is.
But you also have to have the guys that take advantage of that, because like not all of their guys can take advantage of that. I mean, they got a couple of guys up front that got pressure or whatever, but I don't know. It's more like window dressing, really. But if you gotta,
that's what I was fixing to say. It's just you're just trying to confuse the O lineman.
Yeah.
And believe me, there's enough experience on that CU coaching staff that they're telling them exactly, hey, don't even think about that. You watch it, you're gonna have your area to block, and you're gonna have it coming from here and here. They'll know what they're gonna see.
Yeah.
By the look. And it's it may take them a minute or two. A couple of plays to get it figured out, but once they figure it out, they will. And here's the thing: do you see Lincoln adjust once they make an adjustment from Colorado? A lot of times he doesn't, right? He's not Sark, but a lot of times he doesn't make a huge adjustment, and if anything, he kind of tightens up a little bit when it gets close again. So, yeah, I don't know, man. We've seen this story a lot of times. We know what used to burn Oklahoma, whenever they got. And here's the thing: the one thing I'll say about, and I've said this a bunch of times, Lincoln was super, super, super. He had a lot of success in the Big 12 when it was trash. I mean, trash. Texas was shitty. And there just wasn't a lot of teams that could keep up. You didn't have quarterbacks like what you have in the Pac-12 right now. And USC hasn't had to play one of them yet. Now they do. And they've given up a lot of points. They gave up a lot of, somebody up here just said, 45-17. Shit, they gave up 28 to Arizona State.
And Drew Pine. Not even their starting quarterback.
Drew Pine was trash.
I think San Jose State had more than 17. They
had 28. They had 28.
Yeah, they scored 28 too. Yeah.
Look, hey, Nevada had more freaking offensive production on them than they did on damn Montana.
Like I said, man, I think SC wins, but to hold Colorado under 20, unless Colorado just gives up. I mean, I can say, SC goes up 14-3 and then they just shut it down. But other than that, as long as they keep attacking, I just don't see how they keep them under 20. Like that's. I don't know. 3 touchdowns for Shedeur and company. Again, this is not the Oregon D people. This is not the Oregon defense.
Right. Exactly. And that's the thing. Anybody who's comparing these two programs, but comparing USC and Oregon, it ain't the same. Because I would tell you, Oregon's not as good offensively. They're good though offensively, but they're not. But Bo Nix isn't as good as freaking Caleb Williams.
No,
but Bo Nix didn't have to be.
Nope.
They have a big offensive line. They had a big defensive line. What do you always say, Coach? Styles make fights.
Yep. Like I say, they're gonna score now. That's what Colorado got to be ready. SC's gonna. I don't see anybody holding SC.
Nobody's gonna stop SC.
Nobody's gonna stop SC from scoring.
All you have to do is stop them a couple of plays, a couple of drives here and there. You might get them to have a special teams mistake because, as we know, they don't even freaking practice it. There's places that they'll have a place to lose.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, Shedeur need to come out and be checked down, Charlie, dog. Get those safeties and those corners to walk up and then look for the big play. Because what that does is not only does that make them walk up so that you can take some shots deep, but that also keeps them on the field. As long as their defense is on the field, their offense is not on the field, and eventually they get wore out. You know what I'm saying? And you control the clock. This is one of those games where you got to be comfortable taking that 3 yard, that 3 yard, 4 yard out. Like, Travis Hunter is not out. Yeah. So if you just do that and put together like some 10 play plus drives, you can be in this thing.
You could. And again, you're going to have to find a way to kind of slow it down a little bit. You got to keep them off the field. But I also think that SC has to do the same thing. You know what I mean? They're going to have to sustain some drives too. And which means that they're going to have to run the ball well, and maybe they can, but in the end, Lincoln's not really about slowing the game down.
No,
he's not.
That's not his offensive style.
No, yeah, the trenches have to step up. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that. And thanks to everybody for the kind words about the show. We're enjoying doing this. We always enjoy doing this, man. If you like the content, make sure you hit the freaking thumbs up button for us. We appreciate that.
Subscribe to all 3 channels.
Yes, please
we all
do.
play for clicks.
Yeah, hit them all. If you jump in, we're playing for clicks for sure.
We are for sure playing for clicks. We are.
We are playing for clicks for sure. Yeah. It's we're not part of the team.
We're not hiding from that.
No. We'll tell you what it is. No, hey, listen. Yeah, chicken. Come on now. Grinch will slant towards Tennessee's. If you run a gut or tug, you can run on Grinch.
That's what I'm saying. There's an opportunity to run some, especially early on this defense, because I think they're going to come back. They're going to come out initially with those.
They're going to try to shake him, right?
They're going to try to shake Sedora right away. They're going to try to shake him right away. And if you, like you say, run some. I'm telling you, man, some draws, or I think Shawty might have said it earlier, man. Maybe even put the, one of those running backs in Wildcat and motion Shadura out. Just run it right at him. Like, don't try to get fancy. Just run it right at him. See what you can get. Keep them honest.
Yes. Absolutely. And yes, and L stands for Lincoln and loss in Boulder. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be something? You lose like that to Oregon, then turn around and beat SC. That'd be crazy.
The conspiracy theorist has it in me that this is how we just wanted to set it up, right? Because rope-a-dope. Yeah, we just did ourselves no favor, out in Oregon. Terrible game plan, terrible, no resilience at all. Just, we just laid down immediately, man, in that game. But man, we got too many celebrities at this game for it not to be close. We have to show out. LeBron James, Bronny James, Snoop Dogg's going to be there. He better be in the black and gold. Lil Wayne, DJ Khaled. But the only thing that I'm worried about is that I'm a little worried that this team is getting cursed by Skip Bayless a little bit. That's kind of what I'm a little worried about, man.
Oh, no. Yeah, Skip needs to shut up.
Yeah, they did their show today, on campus. And I just, I know this is a tangent, but can one of y'all explain to me, I've never met one person in my life that likes Skip Bayless. How does he have such an audience?
Yeah. I don't know. I think a lot of people watch him because they want him to be, I don't know, just because you despise him. Like it's like, for instance, the people that don't like Prime, they're still watching Prime. You know what I mean? They're watching him because maybe they want him to fail. I don't know why you would do that to Skip, because I'm not a big Skip Bayless fan and I don't watch him that much. I catch highlight clips.
I don't watch him. I can't do it.
I'm not. I wasn't a big fan of his when he was on First Take. He said some outlandish takes and try to make you believe that he believes that. And I'm like, you just doing it for the views, bro. You can't believe that some of these guys you say are bad. He just had, I don't know. He's just not a favorite of mine.
But I'm right there with you. But I'll tell you what, one last thing I want to leave you with all this is that this is a great opportunity for Caleb Williams to also scout out some real estate while he is here, because he is hopefully getting his first look at where he's going to spend the first 15 years of his NFL career. Right here in the Denver Boulder area with my Denver Broncos. He's going to look great in the orange and blue. We just got to make sure we take care of business on Sunday and make sure that the Bears get that win at home in Chicago.
Yeah. After TCU disappeared into the shadow. Yeah, listen, we got to hope that Dylan needs to step up and do something for sure. And, he's a freshman.
I was about to say he's still a freshman. Yeah, so he's going to have some ups and downs.
Yeah, I would feel like you're gonna have a pretty good opportunity. I think that, again, what we saw them do against TCU is, I don't think that USC has any more defense than that.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm pretty sure they don't, because
they got
since
like I say, they can get sacks.
TCU has shut down a couple of good offenses since then. Their defense might even be better than SC's. And look at what they did to that defense. I mean, I was watching Kuz's Corner the other day. He had that creator she's a TCU creator with Bobby Burton. And she was talking about how ever since that game that, and that they just hadn't had a lot of tape on them, but they've been good since. I would tell you that it doesn't matter how much tape that Grinch has because it's not going to matter. It's just they'll get out schemed. I just really feel that way.
I think they're gonna get a number of sacks, so y'all be prepared for that. But it's like they're boom or bust. So it's like if they get the sack, good. But if they don't, you still, like I said, bottom third in pass defense. So
that's why we gotta run the ball. I don't care if it's 3 yards a carry. Like that's better than what we've had. You
can't abandon it. You can't abandon it.
Like this offensive line, again, it's not elite. It's probably not even above average, but it is better than what we have seen. I believe that, and we're not doing them any favors right now with just calling a one-dimensional game. I really do feel like they just need to have that mentality of we are going to establish this. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a different lineup with the offensive line. I can't confirm this, but we do have some guys, Kareem Harden, Jeremiah McCrinnon, some of these big JUCO guys that just need, I think, a little bit of time to get up to speed. We have bigger guys on the offensive line, size-wise, at least, compared to some of the guys that are starting in our interior right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like I say, I think your tackles are good now. Your tackles are super tall, so that's not going to help against that pass rush because sometimes I don't think their hip bend is good, flexible enough to get in their kick step and all of that stuff. Yeah. So again,
we saw that issue last week.
Yeah, but you can run right by it though if you actually stick to the run though. That's the problem. It's like it was a comment you put up. As a guy said, USC is gonna put on a clinic.
Yeah.
I think like we saying offensively, we know this. Like offensively, they'll put on a clinic on everybody. But I mean, I don't know if you guys, the USC fans, think y'all defense is like that. Like you get a lot of sacks. Outside of that, it's not very much else. So you're not, again, it's not the Oregon where you have a total defense and a guy behind them in Tosh Lapoy or whatever his name is, and Dan Lannon, who can make a unit work together. You know what I'm saying? So
now did going back to like the OU teams with Lincoln Riley too, like how did they play on the road? Because I'm kind of wondering, is USC kind of really built for the road? They had their first 3 games at home. Their last road game was last week. Is this a team, or are his teams normally different on the road?
I think it's hard to say because, like Jason said, they was playing against a bad Pac-12 though, and to be honest, they didn't play great at Iowa State at times. And Iowa State wasn't like some world beaters. So
the one thing about Iowa State was they had a good defense, though, right?
They did.
And they had a running game that would slow. When you had Brees, you could run the game. You could run the football. The last road game that they have was obviously Bedlam in 2021. They lost that. The one before that was
and they were the better team. They were the better team.
They were the better team. He threw it. Then the Baylor game before that, they got exposed in that one. And Dave Aranda's defense exposed them, period. Plain and simple. They got beat on that one too. So I would say, to me, I would just tell you that, I think that he has shown some cracks, but I don't know that it's any different at home. I mean, hell, they almost lost to Tulane in the year that they had 1 win. And it was supposed to be on the road, and they had them at home, and they beat them 40-35, I think it was.
Yeah.
I mean, they couldn't stop Tulane when they had 1 win. You know what I mean? It was just silly shit.
I think you could see this game being something like 49-34, 49-31, like in that 2 touchdown range or whatever. But there's going to be some points scored in this game, both sides. Trust that.
A lot of missed tackles, probably. So
there's going to be some points scored in this game, bro.
There is, and this is why we were saying new legacy. This is what we were saying earlier. I think that you have to make Shedeur a runner. I think if you make Shedeur a runner early, then you won't have to run him late.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Make him again. Whatever you got to do, whether it's like you say, run just regular run game, Shedeur in the run game, RPO. Letting the running backs go in the wildcat, using the screen game as part of the run game, whatever you can to slow that rush down. And then once because if they're not sacking people, they're not actually stopping people. You see what I'm saying? Right. So that's all. That's the key. Just to keep them off of Shedeur in that backfield.
Look, I'm as I said, I'm not necessarily predicting it. You know, I because we've also seen Caleb Williams win games that he shouldn't have won. Right?
Yeah,
we've seen it.
Yes.
And then I still think he's the best player in the country. But I would tell you that they do him no favors on the rest of that team, particularly on the defensive side. So we're gonna find out. You know what I mean? We're gonna find out. You know. Let's see.
Money Reaper says he thinks Cormani's ready to transfer. Dion is not liking what he's been doing.
I feel like I've been asked about that on my channel every day, man. But we'll just have to see, man. We'll just have to see. He's got a standard, and you got to meet it before you get on the field. So
the thing is, he's not going to be able to go to any elite programs that's going to treat him any different. Dion is holding him to a higher standard because he was the #1 corner. Not I mean, he's not going to go to Alabama and get it any easier. It's not going to go to Oregon and get it any easier, or go to Georgia and get it, or Oklahoma. Like, these are all defensive guys. Like, they're like, you got to show up, bro.
Yeah, no doubt. And he could, we'll see how he did this week. That's what
I've been predicting.
We'll see how he did this week, because goodness, we need his help in the secondary badly, because unlike outside of Oregon, I have believed in, this team, we've had the top end talent, on the field. CU has. And I think that's helped make up for a lot of our mistakes and kind of playing sloppy football for certain periods. USC, we don't have that. We don't have that luxury, we're going against Caleb Williams, Lloyd, Branch, Brendan Rice is making his return.
They have a lot of weapons, man.
They do. Brendan Rice, and,
he does
Zachariah Branch.
Zachariah Branch is a bad dude, bro.
What you talking about, dog? Like, bro, that's another thing we talked about. Like, in the punt game and the kicking game, you cannot let that guy
out of bounds every single time.
Listen, especially punt, you definitely got to kick that out of bounds and keep it out of his hands. You don't want that dude to get started. So.
Yeah, it was like, hey man, Cormani. I hope he's all good, man. That's good if he is.
I want him to, because he would be a tremendous help if he was in good graces.
Think about it.
He's got a lot of talent.
He does have a lot of talent, man. And I think that it's got to be tough for him being that far away from home first year and all that stuff. It's an adjustment for a lot of kids. You know what I mean? It is. But so you're going to have to wait and see how that goes. But again, I know you said you'd only had about 30 minutes, David, so you can get out of here as soon as you need to.
We can go here in a few minutes,
Yeah, but just to look, as I said, hey, Coach, I have said that it's a game they can lose, and I just said that. But the prediction that I've been making is that they lose 4 games, and it could be any 4 of Colorado, Notre Dame, Utah, Oregon.
I feel if Utah can't rise and get healthy, y'all gonna fool around here and let them dudes win the Pac-12 again.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, my pick at the beginning of the year for the Pac-12 was Washington anyway. I said that Washington would beat all of these dudes. They may drop one, though.
I still think that Washington's the best team, but I think Washington State's right there with them, too. Cam Ward's a stud, too, bro.
Oh, I said that in your comments on your show the other day. The best 2 quarterbacks as far as performance on the field this year are both in the state of Washington. Like Cam Ward and Michael Penix Jr. just balling out. You know what I'm saying? Like, right now, I honestly would put Washington as the #1 team, for not because they played a hard schedule, but they haven't struggled at all with anybody. And every other team has had at least a quarter and a half, something like that.
Yeah, people were talking about that they didn't look great on defense or whatever in the second half. They were up 45-12 last week. You know what I mean?
They was up 45-12 in the first half.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It was 45-12. They were playing other guys by then.
I mean? They came out in the third quarter and scored the first drive, and it was 49. It was 52-12 after the first drive in the third quarter. After that, I don't really care what you do. I mean, that's like when we played in the SEC championship, we was up like 31-7 on LSU going to, and then they put up like, I don't know, another 300 yards or something, but we still won by 20. Like, I don't really care about it, once the game is in hand. That doesn't really mean anything. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Washington and USC are damn good. Utah just entered the chat. Utah just entered the chat.
Listen, all I'm saying is,
I think you're right about that. I mimicked you the other day. I said, "Hey man, you better not let them be undefeated when he shows up."
Because this is the thing. They haven't lost a game and their offense doesn't look good. So once he shows up and they have offense, we know Kyle Whittingham's going to have a defense and their defense is going to play good. So if they can skate by until Cam Rising comes back,
that's right.
Now they got an offense.
Right. Now they got offense. And they like to ugly up the game anyway. That's how it works with them.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? They love uglying it up. That's Kyle Whittingham's favorite thing to do.
They had a pick 6 against UCLA, first play of the game, and then their offense only scored 7, but UCLA could not move the ball. Like, they just could not move the ball. It was like, I want to say they won 14-3 or something like that. So that's what they like. That's what they like at Utah, man. So all I'm saying is you get them before Cam comes back. That's all I'm saying. Right.
But even, because Cam, they were down 17 in the Pac-12 championship game, and Cam brought them back. And when he did it, when they knocked his helmet off, is when he started the comeback.
He's a gamer.
He's a baller. Yeah, that dude goes out there. He's the Coach Witt called him. He's an alpha dog. That's what he is.
He's a gamer, dog. So.
Yep, that's what you like.
But hey, man, don't sleep on the Cougs, man. I'm telling you, the Cougs look good.
Yep,
they do. They do.
Now, with that said, I do think Oregon State has a chance to beat Utah tonight, just because Cam Rising isn't playing.
Me too.
And they're not playing at home. If they was playing at Rice Eccles, I would have picked Utah, but I think I took Oregon State.
Give me Utah taking the points, though.
Don't say that, David. I picked them. I got Oregon State in to pick them. I want Utah to win, though. I wouldn't mind being wrong. I want you to. If they're gonna kill my spread, go ahead and outright win. Don't just kill my spread just to be killing my spread.
Well, the one thing I'd say about Oregon State is the kind of team that can take an ugly game too. They look at all the games they won last year, not throwing the ball, but like 5 or 6 times.
They got a good run defense and they can run the ball. They can't defend the pass very well, but they can stop the run. So that's why I think it doesn't bode well for Utah, because Utah has to run the ball with this quarterback situation they got going on.
Yeah. Man, that's tough, New Legacy. Dang.
What?
He said he's got my cousin Jaden Moore, number 85 on USC. I got a daughter that's in the marching band at Bama, and my cousin played for Coach Prime last season at Jackson State. So I'm divided.
Man, that's you all over the place. Hey, wear a shirt that just says "House Divided." One side Colorado, one side.
Just be USC. Happy for whoever wins. It's a good day.
Listen. You said it's hard. I'm thinking you in a good situation. You a win-win.
You don't lose. Yeah. You don't lose no matter what. You can just be happy with the one that lost. The one to me. Yep. All right. Yeah. If Cam plays, does Utah have a chance?
Tonight? Yeah, they winning if Cam plays.
If he plays tonight, they're winning. But I think they're going to have a shot at the playoff.
Listen, I think I got them, like you said, a chance. Definitely, if nothing else, playing for the Pac-12, if not winning it.
Yep.
If Cam Rising's healthy, because if he's healthy, that changes that offense altogether.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Good stuff.
Okay.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, look like the commenter saying Kamani's got his stuff together.
That's good. He does
listen, we need him, man. Go ahead.
People can say whatever they want about Coach Prime and how he does things. He's as hard on everybody as he is on everybody. It don't matter if it's your kid or if it's his kid or if it's just a player that he brought in. Their rules are their rules, and he makes them.
Sometimes big time players like that, man, need an ego check, and once they get that ego check,
Coach says it all the time. They want to be coached.
My mom told me that my first year coaching youth basketball, she was like, "Don't be scared to discipline the kids. They want it."
Yep.
Yeah, you have to do it, man. You have to do it. So it is what it is, man. And football is it's a game of discipline. You got to have discipline there, right?
Yep, for sure.
Year 30, Coach says, "Shoot, bring one to me, Coach. You know where the studio is. Come on, man."
30. Oh yeah. Hey, man, that's right. We got a little bit of time before this Pac-12 gets kicked off. I got time.
Yep. Yeah. Listen. Hey, David, tell everybody how to find you real quick before you get out of here. We're gonna wrap this up with some OU and Georgia talk, and then we're gonna move on.
Yeah, thanks again, guys, for having me. Everybody who's checking in from my channel, please go subscribe to Jason and to Coach I. Fanatic Sports links are in the description. You can find me at David Talks Buffs on all platforms. Be sure to give me a follow on Twitter. And again, we need everything to go right in our favor tomorrow. So, say your prayers for CU. We gotta get to 1-16 all time. This is pathetic. We cannot allow 0-17. This is a team of destiny. We have too many celebrities there, to play a bad game. So say your prayers, rub your energy crystals, whatever you're doing. We need all the good mojo for CU this week. This is something that we can have fun with and hopefully, see a nice upset happen. Thanks, y'all.
Hey, man, good stuff, man. We appreciate you coming in and seeing us,
y'all.
and we'll talk to you after the game tomorrow.
Sounds great. See y'all.
All right,
See you,
bro.
man.
Later. David Neill from David Talks Buffs.
Go subscribe.
He's a fun dude. Make sure you guys get over there and subscribe. If you're not already subscribed to his page, hell, he caught up and passed me by double by now, man.
That dude got energy and more energy, dog.
He does, right? I love it, man. I love it. And he's been fun. And like I said, I think he started it like 6 months ago.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's at the last I looked at, he was at like 4,500 subs already. They love him. And they should. He's funny, man. He has a good time with it. He's
He keeps it real too.
He doesn't try to act like he knows too much or anything like that. Like, a lot of guys on YouTube do that act like they know more than they do. And hey, he just gets on there. He doesn't. It is what it is. He's a good dude though, man. I enjoy his show. I enjoy having him on our show. Lots of fun, man. Lots of fun. I really have enjoyed just the community that we've kind of built around each other and stuff.
2023 has definitely started out and been good for us to all come together. You're right. Definitely loving it, man. I like to be with guys who actually want to talk some football and can let their team colored sunglasses on the tape, leave their team colored sunglasses on the table sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, for sure, bro. Hey, man, it's like I always say, I leave a toothbrush over at the snap count. And just in case, because we're gonna hang around a lot. But yeah, listen, I'm hoping that CU gets a win. I don't know how much I expect it, but I think that if it's a game, you could see it happen. It would not surprise me if they win. Not at all.
It wouldn't. Like I say, I got SC winning, but I wouldn't like if Colorado pulls the upset. It wouldn't surprise me. I would have been surprised had they pulled the upset against Oregon because I feel like Oregon, top to bottom, is just a more complete team. Even though SC has the better offense.
Oh, no doubt.
I just feel like even I said currently,
I also think
Washington,
you kind of messed up with that going in there doing the stomping on the O and talking all that mess in the.
Not to mention that 2 overtime game against their in-state rival. Listen, man, that's a lot to overcome the very next week, especially when it's not an experienced team. So you need an experienced team to come out off of a game like that and still play at a high level. So. Yeah, they're like, Oregon. I don't know who Oregon played before. They played like
they hadn't really played anybody. They played Tech, and Tech hung with them.
Yeah. But I think the week before that they played Sisters of the Poor or whatever. So next year, it's trying to Clemson glasses. We'd be full force.
Oh, they're on.
I'm gonna have Jason on. So I do. I do the game previews when I'm not doing the live. I'm gonna have you on to preview the Texas.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
gonna get
I'm
together
ready.
on
I'm
Sunday.
ready. I'm hoping. I got some news today. I think I may be going to the Red River, so I'm excited.
Good deal.
I'm going, but we're gonna wait and see. But hey, look, no matter what, it's always Crimson. Hey, Crimson and Cream all day long and horns down. As you all know, throw them down. We're gonna do a lot of content this next week on that. Coach, let's talk about UGA though this week. Generally speaking, this is the oldest rivalry in the South. With Auburn, I know you guys have had their number lately, and it looks like this wouldn't be one of their teams that you would expect to give them much, but weird things happen down on the plains, don't they?
I can see, we haven't been playing good in the first half of games. So I wouldn't be surprised if like at halftime it's like, I don't know, 14-7 or something like that, Georgia. And then we pull off because in the third quarter, we're like, I think we're outscoring opponents 56-0 in the third quarter. I don't know what it is that takes us that long to get started, but whatever it is, that's what it is. And I wouldn't be surprised if this first half goes the same way, and then we pull off on them in the second half. I just really don't think they have enough offense to really, give it a go in trying to upset us. The spread is 14.5. I think it's like that because of our first half. If we had to start it out in the first half of these games like we played the second half, I don't think the spread would be 14.5. I think it'll be
So
more
what do
like
you think is the
20.
issue there? What is it? Is it because it doesn't seem like they would still be just like starting slow because Cody's not having it. It can't,
yeah.
right?
So part of it is we up until last week we haven't been efficient in the red zone as we want to be. So for instance, when we played, I want to say it was Ball State, we got in the red zone twice and missed 2 field goals. You know what I mean? And then or maybe that was South Carolina. Yeah, so it's like when you get a 13-play drive together and then you go down there and then you miss a field goal, that's your only possession for the first quarter. Then you get it, the beginning of the second quarter. We don't want field goals, but we haven't been the team we want to be like in the red zone. I think that's the slow start. And then, Carson Beck, I personally think starts out where he's trying not to lose as opposed to trying to win,
blowing it up.
Yeah, and then in the second half, maybe the coaches or even his players, the defense, like, yo, man, let's go. We got you, and then he comes out in the second half and then he's, lighting it up or whatever. So I think that's some of it. And we played a lot of people, not because I think it's half because we want to, but half because of injuries. So, like our O-line, I was telling the stat guy today, I was like, sometimes I look out there on our O-line, I'm like, man, where this dude come from? Like, like we're playing guys that's been on the roster for 3 years that you forgot that was on the roster, So I think that's it. But I'm hoping this year also, like 2021, we started out with Clemson. You have to get your mind right for Clemson right now. You can't come out slow. You know what I mean? Yeah. 2022, we start out with Oregon. You got to get your mind right now. And
you get some momentum off of a win like that too. When you come out there.
And the thing is, it makes you focus more when you start out with games like that. I feel like had we not had to play Ball State and we had to play Oklahoma, it would have been a little bit more focused because we have to focus. Right. And not for nothing, I get that you want to play every opponent the same with the same fervor and all that stuff, but
that's easier said than done, man. That's easier said than they're kids.
When you 18 to 22, dog, like really, you looking at Ball State like
who the hell are these guys? These guys, they're Ball State. Yeah, if they were good, they'd
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying,
No, you're not wrong.
Yeah, and then so we.
Particularly when you're coming off of back-to-back national championships, you believe that there ain't nobody gonna beat us.
Okay, listen, man. If you think that some of these guys that's only juniors. True juniors, they literally don't know what it is not to win a national championship. How do you keep
that? They barely know what it's like to lose a football game.
Right. They're literally, 29-1. So after a while, I'm not saying so. We need. I think we need to get to the point, and I think playing. I was hoping with South Carolina, being up 14-3. Even then, I think they kind of took South Carolina kind of for granted. You know what I'm saying? It's like we can turn it on or whatever. Even our middle linebacker said he hasn't been playing up to his standard. Things like that. It's like everybody asked in the offseason, Coach, how y'all gonna win a 3P? I'm like, bro, you know how hard it is to keep that level of. Like just
hadn't been done in 100 years, man.
Because it's hard when you're that third year. Like you got some guys out there still playing hard, and I think
think about how good USC was when they went up against that Texas team. Think about how good and they were good everywhere.
Everywhere.
They had a better. Hey, look, they had a better quarterback. I mean, at least by numbers' sake and all that stuff, And he had shit, man. The guy had a lot of experience. He'd won the Heisman the year before. They had Reggie Bush. They had Lindell White. Then they had a nasty-ass defense. I mean, bro, that was a filthy freaking football team.
Yeah,
they beat up on Oklahoma the year before that. And then you got, but Texas, Texas was loaded too. It's one of the best.
You got to think, when you win back-to-back.
And I hate to say that, but it's the best football game I've ever seen.
And when you win back-to-back like that and you coming into that, especially that third year, I'm not like, even when you got a good program, like Alabama goes through it, but especially in that, that back-to-back year and then that third year, it's like it's almost like each week there's nothing in it for you other than the championship. Like,
yeah, hey, look,
if somebody beats us,
everybody is coming at you like they're going to give you all they got. You're going to get their best no matter what. Even though, if they've got anything for you.
And I think you could see, I want to say it was 2017 when Bama didn't make the SEC championship. They were kind of like hurt and not playing inspired football and hobbling along. And then they got healthy. They started playing better football. And then they beat us, in the championship. They walked the dog with Clemson in the first round. I think you can see that. I'm not saying we win the championship or don't win the championship, but I think you can see as the season goes on, we start to play better and better and better. Like our number one receiver, Ladd, should get a little package this week. He hasn't played in the first 4 games because of injury. Kirby said he's going to probably have a little package or something. He always gives it to Auburn. So he loves playing against Auburn. So I think as he gets healthy, Carson gets more comfortable with his receivers, the running backs get healthier. It's one of those things like, I mean, you can see it like, why didn't Georgia look this good in the beginning of the season? Well, it's a lot of stuff. New OC, new quarterback. Like, we talked about it, on Snap kind of whatever. A lot of the teams that are struggling, I think Shawty brought it up. New guys at the trigger man, we got a new quarterback. Auburn has a new quarterback. It's not like they were great, but all the teams just kind of Ohio State's offense hasn't looked the same. New quarterback, it's like
Shawty's been saying it every week, man. You got new trigger men. You're having to break them in and get them ready. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It makes a lot of sense, and it's true.
And it's a lot of pressure, being QB1 as opposed to QB2 coming in mop-up duty. Mop-up duty, it doesn't matter what you're doing, So there's nothing going through your head. And Carson admitted, even against UT Martin in the first game, that he was like it was different being, QB1, and he was kind of a little bit nervous coming into the UT Martin game. It's like, because everything's riding on you, especially trying to be the 3P. So. He said, Coach Odd as soon as had the first 3-peat. Okay, we're on probation. After I didn't say anybody had the first 3-peat. What are you talking about?
I don't know. I don't remember any.
I didn't say anything about nobody having or not having.
But I know what you're talking about. That was back in the 70s, is what he's talking about. But they didn't.
Yeah. Okay.
That Texas.
I just know the last team that actually did it was Minnesota. It was 1937. So
correct. Yeah, so
that's all I know. I don't know who did it before
almost that. 90 years now.
Come on, man. Chicken talking about time when they weren't even wearing face masks, dog. They just in leather helmets, bro.
Yeah, bro. The football was the size of your head, Chicken.
They have about 10 services voting on the national champion.
Yeah, that's why you've got. I mean, I think Oklahoma has 12 or something that they don't claim. But that's why a lot of teams have ones that they don't claim because so many voters. They had so many, even the 3-peat Minnesota team. They said that third one was not an AP championship; it was like another championship. So but I'm gonna give it to them. It was Okie Light claims one from freaking 1945 when all the men were off at war. Shit,
you got to get it how you live, baby.
You gotta get that. Yeah. The men were off at war, bro. That's all I know.
It hasn't been done in the modern era. Let's just say that. So I guess it's a hard feat to do. It is a hard
Listen, man, and it's because there's a lot of competition out there. You think about that, man. And there's, especially right now, to pull it off right now with the money flowing around everywhere, right? I mean, there are teams that are flat out loaded with talent. And look, as good as Georgia is talent-wise, there's a lot of other football teams that got a lot of talent too. And the portal is swinging people back and forth across the country as well.
You just hit it, Jason. If Georgia is able to do a 3-peat, I think that says more than any repeat or anything in any time in history because of what you just said. With the portal and NIL, it's the reason why we're seeing so much parity in college football, especially in 2023. I mean, that's what we just talked about. Like Washington is the only team, regardless of the schedule, who hasn't really struggled, you know what I'm saying, as far as offensively to get going on at any point in any game this year. And if you can do a 3-peat,
Colorado, shit, they were 1-11 last year. Now they've got a team that can go out there and compete with almost everybody in the Pac-12.
Yep. So, yeah, still good point. Still said the national championship was awarded before bowl games back in the early 1900s.
Sure was. Hey man, yeah. I mean, shit. None of us remember all this. We don't know all this. You know what I mean? You have to be a hell of a historian to go back on this.
Shout out to Steele for that one, man.
You the man, dog. You the man on that. I tell you something.
Sure.
This is the kind of stuff that I go back up. You know, my Forever 89 hat. This is about Otis Taylor. Used to play for the. He was a Kansas City Chiefs. Unbelievable receiver. He should be in the Hall of Fame by a lot.
Yeah.
The fact is that, man, you went back around the merger era, which is when he played. He had what 2,000-yard seasons. He did them on 57 catches each. They just didn't throw the damn ball around. There's just things that are so much different from era to era to era, right?
Yeah, it's just like in the NFL when you have 1,000 yards.
To compare from even 10 years ago to today is tough.
Yeah, it's just like, when you look at Jim Brown having 1,000-yard season, it's so different that if a running back now has 1,000-yard season, they play 17 games. That's not the same as playing 13 games and having 1,000 yards, So,
absolutely.
But yeah, Shawty says, yeah, it would have been good to have playoffs this year, 12-team playoff this year. That would have been, it probably would have been one of the better playoffs ever.
You ain't wrong. No, you're right on that. And I agree.
Right.
Hey, look, it's been time to do this, and we've been talking about access and stuff with this 12-team playoff. Honestly, if the NIL, if the transfer portal doesn't change a whole lot, and they continue to allow people to move around like they have, and I know they're trying to change the laws. I don't know how much teeth the NCAA has left.
Mm-hmm.
You might actually see that some of these other programs outside of that top 7 or 8 might have a shot. This year would be a prime example of that. Because I'm not sure, if you look at it, there's got to be 10, 12, 15 teams that are in the mix right now for the playoff, for the 14.
To win a national championship, of course, you got to have good coaching. You got to have good players.
Of course.
But you also got to have depth, injury-free, and you got to have some fortune go your way. I mean, let's look at the ladies basketball when UConn, when South Carolina won their first under Dawn Staley. I'm not saying they couldn't beat UConn. All I'm saying is Maryland took UConn out. You know what I'm saying? Or however it worked. You know what I'm saying? It's like you didn't have to face them. So who knows? The favorite could go down in the first, second round whenever they have to play. And then now the team that was, second favorite, they got a clear path to the championship. Just like that. So it's gonna be interesting, man. So it's a good week for college football.
It is. Yeah. Well, there's some other pretty good games out here on it too. We've been kind of looking through some of these. Obviously, that USC game is the one we've been looking kind of hard at. But I tell you, I'm looking at it as look. You've got that Utah-Oregon State game that's going on tonight. It's starting here. It's actually starting up here in just a few minutes.
That's gonna be a good one.
That's gonna be a good one. Let's see. Florida at Kentucky. Florida's lost the last couple.
I picked Kentucky to come in second in the SEC East, so I picked Kentucky to win this game. They're at home. They beat Florida 2 out of the last 3 times after not beating them for like 30 straight times or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Then you got Alabama A&M. You got Duke. Listen, you got Duke. Notre Dame.
Here's another upset alert. I want you to take a look at. Jalen Daniels going into Austin to take on those Longhorns.
Me and Stat got talking about that. Nice.
I tell you, they lost the last time they were in Austin. It's a different football team. I'm going to give you that. But I'll just say this. Jalen Daniels is one of the most electric players in the country.
He is.
Now, that defense is really good from what we can tell there. But this isn't Baylor and this isn't Wyoming. And they struggled with Wyoming over there too. If they get a little cocky here, Jalen can burn their ass.
If Sark can keep them focused, then they beat Kansas. But if they get to that point where we're Texas, we're back, you're Kansas, you're not, Jaden Daniels can definitely hurt them. They definitely can. They got the pieces on offense at Texas to blow Kansas out the water, to be honest. But like you said, I don't know what their mindset is right now, especially, being undefeated, being in the talks. Well, it's hard to hold up to that.
Sark's talking about we don't look at this as a trap game. Well, I don't know. It's a trap game to me because they shouldn't beat you, but you better not be looking ahead because if you do, you're going to get beat. Now, I would tell you that Oklahoma with Iowa State, I would hope that they're not looking ahead too, because I think Matt Campbell's a good coach and they're going to play defense.
Yeah, but they ain't got no trigger man though.
The rest of it, they ain't got much of anything.
Yeah,
right.
They ain't got no trigger
It's
man.
not the same kind of thing. Now, if it was the other way around and Oklahoma's playing Kansas this week, I'm chewing nails off right now. You know what I mean? I ain't liking it.
Listen, we got to do it. I was going to say the same thing. I would call Iowa State a trap game, but they got way too much going on off the field to, like you said, Matt Campbell's a good coach, got a pretty decent defense, but they ain't got a trigger man at all. I think this game's going to be over before it gets started. And that's how I think you guys are going to approach this game. Not to mention,
you need to go and step on their neck. This is where, if you're in Oklahoma, this is what we've been talking
right
about
now, like right now.
Absolutely. This is where you need to be. You need to show some maturity, just like I said last week going into Cincinnati. Show some maturity, go in there and step on their neck.
Like, leave no doubt right now. Leave no doubt right now.
Absolutely.
Big facts. Louisville, NC State's another good one tonight. They're on right now. Louisville is actually 4-0. I told Stat Guy that they was going to win 8 games this year because they didn't have I want to say 8 of their 12 opponents didn't even finish over 500 last year. So I was like, schedule helps you do things, man. And again, Georgia has it look good. Oklahoma schedule is not great, which is helping us out.
Oklahoma has looked good, but their schedule makes everybody talk smack. And I put that video out yesterday talking about, hey, let them overlook you. This is a good time. If people are overlooking you, that's good. I
don't care what. Listen, man, I told somebody we got the hardware on the back-to-back. Yeah. Give us the easiest schedule ever. I don't care, because in 10 years, nobody's going to care who we played if they're looking at trophies in Athens.
Yeah.
I'm like, we played the hard teams. Like, let us have an easy, wait. Like, we played the Ohio State last year. We played Alabama the year before and the Michigan. And we played Oklahoma in 2017. We've taken on some of the, no, give me the easy path. I don't care.
Bro. Look, and that's one thing is Oklahoma's never been one to duck anybody anyway, and we didn't give them the schedule that they gave them in the Big 12. That wasn't set up by Oklahoma. And they got the Cincinnati road game. They've got BYU. BYU's another really tough place for them to go play on the road.
I think they
go on the road to play Kansas as well.
You go to Lawrence. Okay.
It's going to be in Lawrence. And look, they almost didn't beat them last time they were there too. And that was in Leipold's first year. So look, and of course that was when they beat Texas that year. They definitely beat Texas that year. Here's the thing I would say. After last year going 6-7, it doesn't bother me that much that this is the kind of schedule that they're playing. It just doesn't, because look, you got to give them some confidence, and they do have confidence. And you see this defense flying around. They're number 4 in scoring defense. They're number 2 in takeaways in the country. They're doing what they're supposed to do to the teams that they're doing it to. You could say whatever you want about Cincinnati, that they didn't win by enough in your estimation or what. Okay. Well, they had 1 turnover in the red zone on a fumble. Yeah. And then, they had a couple of mishaps here and there where they just, got out of position, had a drop here or there or something stupid that happened. And Dylan missed a couple of throws. He's 78% on the year.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. You know what I mean? We could sit here and nitpick at it all day long, but what we really need is just, to me, I want to see them continue to go out there, handle their business, because you're not supposed to be peaking right now.
That's another thing. If you peak in early, October, what you gonna have left in the tank? That is right. Bloody guns. You right? Listen.
Yeah, they should have. Yeah,
that's a Lincoln
gag jobs.
That's a Lincoln. Like thinking he's comfortable. That's why we was talking about that with USC and Colorado, because what he has a tendency to do is get comfortable when he's up big. And that's just, I know a lot of people want to blame the Swift kick, which was a bad mistake.
No. The only thing that did, I was in the stadium. It took the air out of them. When that didn't work, when you did that, and it gave momentum to Georgia and took it away from Oklahoma. It was stupid.
But there was a time in the second half of that game where you guys were still up. Like, it was right after maybe it was the fumble by Sony and you guys take it in for the score. Y'all were up double digits and Lincoln was playing to keep the lead instead of playing to win, because he called his play calling was like, I'm like, what are you? I'm like, thank you. But he even
said after the game, that because of Baker being sick that week, he was blaming it on Baker without blaming it on Baker. It was bullshit.
I was like, I told my boy, I was like, God, he just threw Baker under the bus.
He just threw Baker under the bus. Baker went out there and lit it up.
I'm like, Baker might have been sick all week, but he was not underperforming like he was sick on game day. Baker thought the game was over after the second touchdown that OU scored, because he was, he was doing his Baker thing, talking trash or whatever. But I mean,
this is what I love.
That's who he was.
Yeah.
I told y'all with the whole Oregon Colorado thing, I'm all for trash talk, dog. If you can dish it, as long as you can take it, listen, I'm all for it. So it's whatever.
Look, man, and not to say, look, I'm going to sit here. I mean, hell, that was a hell of a freaking Georgia team too. You could have Chubb and Sony Michel in that backfield play, and Jake Fromm was a hell of a quarterback too.
Jake Fromm was a true freshman.
The championship.
That's hey, he almost, as a true freshman, he almost did that thing.
Yeah.
So it's man.
Dude, I was in the Rose Bowl that night, Kim. I wanted to go down to the sideline and choke that ass too. I was pissed. You could just feel it. You could feel it come out. You felt the electricity come out of the stadium though when it did. It just completely. It went to the other side of the stadium, to the Georgia fans.
Yeah, and he had some questionable play calling down the stretch where you guys had a 4th and 1. You put in a receiver who was like, I swear that dude was like 6 foot 180. And he hadn't played all game, and you tried to run a speed sweep on him, and Roquan tackled him right. Like, he almost took his neck off. And I was like, okay, what's funny is y'all rushed for 250 yards on us that day, and all you needed was like a yard. I'm like, why didn't he?
And you come up with that play call? That's the play call you come up with?
But see, it's like some people get in those games. It's what you kind of talk about when you get in those games and you don't make the adjustments, or you don't put the foot on the neck, and that's what you want to see from teams. And I talk about that all the time. Like
with what you're doing, you don't have to get cute. This is what happens with air raid coaches too. A lot of times, I saw it happen with Leach a lot. Yeah, we've all seen, and I love Coach Leach, man. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on Coach Leach, but we all know he didn't win anything.
Listen,
he never even won a conference championship, man. And he could have more than once. And there were times, like the year that Michael Crabtree and they beat Texas.
Yeah, Michael Crabtree
beat the shit out of them that same year.
Yeah. Well, see, that's what like talking about like Lincoln and at USC Colorado. When I watched the USC Arizona State game, I went back and watched it the second time. You right, because the air raid coach wants to throw the ball. And when I'm telling you, if they just give the ball to Marshawn Lloyd more, that's not a game in the second half, because Marshawn Lloyd didn't just average, like, I want to say 10 yards a carry that game. He was getting 10 yards a carry. Yeah. And it's like they couldn't stop him. And all you have to do is feed this dude, and you beat Arizona State without being in trouble. Like I said, at one point in the second half, it was like 35-31. It was still a game, 38-35 or something.
That's how they play tomorrow, bro. I really do.
If they play like that tomorrow, Colorado's definitely got a chance. But if they come out and do what they should, then, they'll beat Colorado. Again, I don't see them they're not going to hold them down like Oregon held them down. That's just.
Oh, no. And listen. I know that they brought in some guys that were better that supposedly are, better on paper, because they did.
Like I say, individually, they have better talent.
Bigger and stronger when they got to SC last year than they will be now.
I'll say this. Statistically, they're better on defense, but it's hard not to be.
They haven't played anybody.
Hold on. This is what I'm saying. The reason why, because it's not hard to be better statistically when you finish finish like in the bottom, like 100 plus in defense.
No,
there's no way to go. But it's like Colorado. Not for nothing, it's hard not to be better this year, because they only won one game last year. You know what I'm saying? So.
Absolutely, no doubt. Look, we don't have to, we've kind of kicked that horse.
For sure.
But hey, there's another. Everybody's been in here kind of talking a little bit about number 11 Notre Dame. Can they bounce back from that loss last week to Ohio State, going on the road to Duke? Hey, Duke is a ready team. I don't know that their depth is going to probably show up here a little bit if you see Notre Dame, but Notre Dame needs to come out here and show something. And I wish
Notre Dame gets them at home. They get them at home. They're at Duke.
They're at Duke. Yeah.
Yeah, they're at Duke. This is what I'll say.
But yeah.
Teams that think they have a chance or a shot at a championship, watch how they react after a loss, because in some of those players' minds, it could be we took a loss, we're out of it. But if he can get them back up to say, hey, we only got one loss, we're still in this, they can come out and do what they need to do against Duke. But it's this not going to be a blowout.
Is that the way that they talked about that 10 men on the field shit after the game last week? That was 2 plays in a row, and he acted like he knew about it. I don't buy that.
He didn't know it. He didn't know
shit. No,
he didn't know about it.
There ain't
you
no
know
way.
why? You know why? Because if I'm the coach and I know we only got 10 players, I don't care if we don't have a timeout. I take the penalty. I take the penalty easy. Because like you say, you're not going to lose anything. They had him on the 1. Exactly. So he didn't know. He was covering up for whichever coach screwed it up, like the D-line coach or whoever it was. He was taking up for whoever, which is honorable as a head coach. But let's not act like you definitely did not know about it. So.
Right. No, but on top of that, I mean, that's where I would hope that we see them. I don't know why you weren't going for the jugular more anyway. And as good as they were running the football between the tackles, and they kind of pulled some stupid stuff at the end of that game last week. It's
that's inexperience. That's inexperience as a coach. Yeah.
But hey, go out there, and you're right. I think that you're completely right. This is a time that Notre Dame can show us who they are. Because you should have won that game. Now what are you going to do? Now
if this is a team that's a contender, they come out and beat Duke at Duke, because it's Duke. I get it, the name, but Duke is a good team. They're at least a 8-9 win team again this year after winning 8 or 9 games last year. So this is going to show us if Notre Dame is actually ready to contend. If they come out and they don't play good and they don't look focused and they have a lot of penalties, then they're not ready for that next level.
Yeah. And that's where, and I think a lot of that this is where you want to see Sam Hartman rally his boys together as well. He's
the veteran leader. He's got to rally your team.
Go win this damn football game. You've played games in the ACC your entire career. Let's go down there and get this done.
And do not let Duke be in the game in the fourth quarter. I'm telling you, that's at home. I get it. That crowd isn't that's another thing. They're going into a place where the crowd isn't hostile. So you can't even feed off the booze or anything like that as an opponent. You just got to kind of bring your own juice. And it's going to be a test. Like I say, if they come out there and they lay an egg.
Yep.
I don't know.
Coach will be. He was pissy on Tuesday, man. He was.
And Mike Elko, Mike Elko was on the staff at Notre Dame at one point. How does that look, right? If Mike Elko beats Marcus Freeman right after the 10 minutes.
Yeah, hey, look, this is where I would say I think Marcus rebounded pretty well from the losses he had last year. They ended up winning 9 games. Good for him. But you know what, bro? You're recruiting. Now go win some damn games.
Go win some games, man.
Gotta win some damn games.
So what about the Alabama A&M?
Alabama is at Mississippi State, and then you've got.
Oh, that's next week. Alabama A&M next week.
Yeah. Right. But the other one that I was looking at here is
South Carolina, Tennessee.
Ole Miss. It's 13. LSU at Ole Miss.
I don't know what to make of that one, dog, because they're kind of like.
I don't either.
They're kind of like rivals.
It's gonna matter, right?
It matters a whole bunch, especially with Ole Miss losing to Bama. If Ole Miss beats LSU, you now just created a 3-way tie for the time being. You know what I'm saying? You got 1 loss LSU, 1 loss Alabama. And yes, LSU lost Florida State, but that has nothing to do with the SEC West. So if LSU can win this game, they're in the catbird seat right now. But if Ole Miss can beat LSU, which they can beat LSU. I don't know what's been going on with Quinshon Judkins. I know he hasn't been 100%.
He hasn't done anything.
But I thought last week they said he was a full go. So I don't know what's going on with that. If he can't get going, they won't beat LSU because LSU got some monsters up front. Yeah,
they have to do better with run, and that's a Lane thing. For all the shit that Lane talks, you need to go win some of these big games.
Hey,
yourself,
man,
bro.
Lane, listen, man, we talk about all these other coaches. I like Lane, but
and I do too.
I'm talking about the results. I'm talking about the results.
Facts.
Dude is an 8-9 win coach.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a Gundy for now.
I don't need.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, that I don't know if y'all hang 50, but I think y'all win comfortably.
I think we could hang 50. I think we can. I don't know that we will, but we'll see.
I'm not saying you can't hang 50.
With it being at home, with it being, look, it seems like they kind of have one, and I hope that this doesn't become a real pattern, because you have one game where you score 70 or 60, then you have one game that you score 20 or 30. This is not what we want to see.
I think you guys get up on them early, and then you see Brent Venables make sure that you guys get out of there with no injuries. So I think you guys could get up early on them and then beat them, you know what I'm saying? And then kind of beat them, you know, in the 39, 30, 40 range to, you know, 10 or something like that. Possibly. Like if you're going to blow them out, I think it looks more like 41-10 as opposed to like 50-3 or something like that. They don't have any offense at all. I don't know how they're going to score double digits, but
no, they're not.
Like
they're not. I don't see that either. I think that
I could see this score that Kim's talking about, because they score maybe on your second, third, fourth string. Possibly. I'm telling you. But if y'all up big, the starter's not playing after the half of the first half of the third quarter.
Moving in and out, and this is one thing. PJ Adebawari is by edict from Coach Venables is going to be playing more. This is our freshman defensive end, and this is something that I was meaning to bring up with my guys here. Look, PJ was a 5-star plus. His brother ran the 4.4 in the combine last year from Northwestern. Nobody knew who he was. He goes out there and gets him a job, right?
Yeah.
PJ's got long arms. He had the best win rate on the defensive line of anybody well, he does have the best win rate of anybody in the conference, or anybody on the team, second in the conference, I think. This is a kid that they need to see more of. You're starting to see this defensive line start to gel together a little better, and they are freaking getting around. Hey, look, they're number 2 in takeaways in the country. They've had 2 games where they haven't given up a touchdown. And you know, even if they give up a little bit in between the 30s, you get down there inside of the 30-yard line, you're locked up now. Yeah. Danny Stutzman playing out of his freaking mind. Out of his mind, man.
I think you guys gonna be up early, and I'm telling you, as a good coach, what I would do, like Dylan Gabriel probably would, if y'all are up, you know, 3-4 touchdowns at half.
Oh yeah, I think that
Dylan Gabriel maybe plays the first drive of the second half, and that's it. And I'm telling you, like, he's pulling people to not get them hurt, because you guys got some guys behind them that need more reps, and they can do that without, you know, even if you give up, because he's going to be willing to even give up scores that's not going to put you guys in jeopardy of losing the game, because it's all about keeping you healthy once you got the game in hand.
Right. But and I think that, like I said, this is where you need to go out there. If you're OU, you don't want this game to be in question for very long. You already, you know, you want to move on to Texas, you know, get this thing out of your way, and show who you are right now. Right. Get that thing done. If you do that, then you're in good shape, you know, and you're hoping that maybe Texas goes out there and you know,
has a close game. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you guys can pretty much shut it down in the third quarter, but they're playing a full-on game, that helps your cause for the Red River.
Absolutely. And look, hey man, I'm here for all of it. I can't wait. I love the Red River Shootout. Oklahoma does very well in the Red River Shootout in modern day. You know, they talk about having like a 10 or 15 game lead on it. That was,
but like the last, y'all like 8-1 in the last 9 or something like that, right?
Yeah, it's 9 and it's 7-3 in the last 10.
Last 10. Okay, I know it's been, it was crazy at one point.
It's
I'm like
Texas hasn't been relevant in a long time. So, you know, they haven't even been relevant.
And how we talked about Notre Dame, I think this Red River means, I'm not going to say it doesn't mean anything to y'all, but national perception, Texas needs it more than OU.
They do, but
Texas needs it more than OU.
Except that, hey, look, Oklahoma, if you don't beat, okay, so let's say Texas wins, right?
Yeah.
And they do what Texas does down the stretch and loses a couple of games, and they don't make it into that championship game. K-State gets in there instead. OU goes in there and beats K-State in the Big 12 championship game. They'll probably leave them out.
They probably will. But I'm just saying, as far as your program is concerned,
even if that's their only loss, I would see them leaving them out of the damn playoff. And that would, because nobody thinks as much of OU as they think of Texas.
Well, see, that's my point. I think for your program, not just for 2023, I think for your program, yeah, you want to win. And for the rivalry, you want to win. But national perception, if you guys lose to Texas, that's not as bad as if Texas loses y'all. Because think about it in the offseason. How many people were saying that OU was going to go 11-1? Not a lot, if any. But they were all pegging Texas to be in the college football playoffs. So if they take this L, bro, that's a huge, huge hit. The 1 year Sark's been there, what? This is 4th year? Something like that. Third year. And this all is Texas back. Now you literally have the athletes to do it. And then
no doubt.
And then you can't get it done.
They're good on defense. They're good everywhere.
That's what I'm saying. And then you can't get it done. That's a huge hit to the Texas brand as far as, recruiting, the perception in the college football playoff, people's minds, because that plays a part in it too. So,
yeah, no, and I agree. It's to me, we'll talk a lot about the Red River next week when it gets here. But I'll tell you this: I don't know that. I think it may mean more this year to Oklahoma just for a certain couple of reasons. Is the fact that they lost 49-0 last year. That's
the rivalry part I was talking about. Yeah, right. For sure. It definitely means something.
If you don't go in there and, I mean, let's say you were to lose it, and if it's not a 1-point game like it could be or something like that, then let's say, like I said, even if you go and win it and you don't win it against Texas at the end, you're not making the playoff. And look, this is a year that it's wide open. This is a good opportunity for Oklahoma. And I mean, we got to still progress. There's a long ways to go before you get to that point. But I think I think that I don't know, man. There's so many teams that are going to be out there vying for that thing. It concerns me. I think that you almost want to see them.
For 2023, and if you're trying to get to the playoffs, then yes, you definitely need this game because, like you said, like it's going to start to be where they're going to judge people's losses, and if you definitely don't want to lose the game like you lost it last year. I don't care like what you do, like you definitely don't want to lose it.
Oh, like shit, that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There ain't nobody. There's not a Sooner fan anywhere that doesn't want to see us just stomp a mud hole in them.
Oh, yeah,
period.
For sure.
Just because of the foul shit they've been talking since last year, man.
It's rough, ain't it, dog? It's rough, dog.
8-5. Oh, I hate
that. 364 days is rough.
It's rough, right? It's rough, ain't it?
Trust me, dog. Listen, being a late 90s Georgia fan, dog, up till now is the 364 with Florida. They was always rough, dog.
Yeah. And I caught your drift there too, Mike. I got it.
Yeah. So it would like that's rough, dog. Especially in a rivalry where it's not a friendly rivalry. This is a rivalry.
Oh no, we hate them. We hate them.
Yeah.
They talking shit all day, every day. There's guys in their fan base on Twitter that I like them, but I hate them. You know what I mean? Like they're fun. They're fun to they post some funny stuff, and you can go back and forth. I can't stand seeing some of the shit they post. It just drives you crazy. But it is what it is.
I was about to say exactly.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's like you know how it is.
He gonna suit up.
Hey, man.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. That's what rivalry games do to you, dog. You ready to put it all on the line.
Texas loses to Kansas tomorrow. Lordy, it's gonna be
I think
they would be reeling by the time they got to Dallas after that. Their confidence would be shook.
Well, that's what I was talking about earlier. Like a team that thinks they have a shot, take a L. That kind of hurts them a lot of times, you know what I'm saying? Because in their mind, they're like, well, what we playing for? Now we just kind of playing just to be playing. It's like, even though we know, I'm pretty sure 3 of the 4 teams, if not all 4 teams, may have a loss in the playoffs. But when you take that L, that's a confidence, like, oh, it's a strike to that confidence.
It can be. And here's the thing. If you're Texas and you haven't won a conference championship since 2009, right? That's the last conference championship.
14
they hadn't won 2 in a row against Oklahoma since like 2006 is the last time they won twice in a row. I think that's right. But
people like to say Alabama got a stronghold on the SEC, no, or had one. No, Oklahoma had a stronghold on the Big 12.
No, OU leads the series since like World War One, but not overall. Not overall.
Yeah,
but here's the thing. It's, I mean, look, it's been dominant. It's been dominant for a long time, OU's direction. OU has more conference championships than anybody in the country. They have more national championships.
Well, y'all have been more dominant. Outside of Vince Young's team, y'all have been more dominant in the 2000 to 2020, 2010,
sure,
2020.
Sure. But again, this is at a time. Look, I've said this before. And I mean, as much as I love Oklahoma and I loved winning 6 in a row, it was great. That was at a time when the conference was at its weakest.
Oh yeah, Big 12 was terrible.
Trash. You know, I mean, if they're not good, Nebraska's now gone, Colorado's now gone, Missouri's now gone, A&M's now gone. You know, all these, you know, the fact that Texas couldn't win one when all of that had happened.
Yeah, that's bad. That's a bad look.
Hell, you know what I mean? And
a bad look.
Yeah. So to me, that's the whole thing, is that when you start looking at it in those terms, look, that's where if you're Texas, you can't be that sure of yourself. I don't give a shit if you beat Alabama in their house or not.
But that's why this is what all of these things go into why I say national perception. It means more for Texas if they lose than if you guys lose. Again, Brent Venables, still a young coach, never been a head coach anywhere until now. I'm not saying that it's going to be a good look. I'm just saying it won't be as bad a look as if Sark can't get it done yet again. And then this is not his first rodeo. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you, dog. Like, they got the pieces to do it, but Sark is his reputation. If he can't
7-win Sark, 7-win Sark, coach. It's 7-win Sark. He's never won 10. He's only won 9 once.
This is what I'm saying.
He coached at Washington SC and now Texas, and he's never won 10 games.
That's what I'm saying. This means nationally. This means way more if Texas loses than if Oklahoma loses.
I get it. Well, it could be the thing
because this is the national.
If they don't do it and get to 10 wins this season, I think you'd be kind of crazy to change coaches, but I've seen them do stupid shit before.
Yeah, because like I say, I think if OU does somehow lose this game, it's just going to be like they're not there yet. That's all they're going to say. But if Texas loses this game, bro, all of that is out the window. Sark can't. I mean, we already know, like you said, it's still the 7-win Sark, but it's like you said, yeah, it'll be crazy to change your coach, but I wouldn't put it past him. I wouldn't put it past him.
Bro, Riley could win that game and not shit else. We're going to see that again tomorrow, or you'll definitely see it throughout the second half of this season at USC. This is what they're better with Venables in that defense, and they still got a top 5 offense in a lot of categories right now.
They do.
So
they definitely do. So
it is what it is.
Oh, you couldn't win.
They would beat Texas. Yeah, well, they're going to beat Texas. It's only one loss that they've won 7 out of the last 10. So it is what it is. The one thing I'll say is this: Oklahoma expects to beat Texas. Texas hopes to beat OU.
That's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. So,
yeah. All right, Coach.
Yep.
I know we got. Let's go watch the football, folks.
Right.
We appreciate everybody showing up in here. I think USC could lose tomorrow. I wouldn't say that they are.
No, I think USC wins, but Colorado covers the spread. This is definitely not going to look like Oregon, Colorado.
We've seen this movie a bunch of times. There, Tide guy. Yeah, we've seen this movie. We know what they do. You could say that. You could say that, and maybe they will. But I think they are playing at altitude, and they don't stop nobody either. They didn't even stop Arizona State last week, and they were down to their what Drew?
Hey, my guy. Hey, shout out my guy Mike Free, man, checking in from Hawaii, baby.
Mike Free, what's up, man? What's up? Hey, we appreciate everybody coming in here and hang. What is Cam Rising playing? I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure.
They didn't announce it earlier, so I would highly doubt it. I would highly doubt it.
Yeah,
that's right, man. My dog from Hawaii.
That's cool. Everybody, please get in there, hit that like button. We will see you on the snap count tomorrow night,
10 o'clock Eastern. Be sure to be there.
Make sure to check out Coach I Fan Addict Sports Network. We got the Saturday night snap count tomorrow night. I will be putting it here as well, but you can go check it out on his. Make sure you go over there and subscribe to his to his channel. If you're coming from his channel, make sure you subscribe to mine. We appreciate everybody coming in, and we will see you tomorrow night.
See you.